Welcome back to this edition of the Speaker Spotlight. Roofer, a road show, is getting ready to come to Carlsbad, California. I'm TJ McCormack. I'm the community manager for Roofer. Most of you guys know me as World's Greatest Roofer. I'm here today with Eric Richardson, the CEO of Roofing Specialists of San Diego. Eric has been one of my friends for a long time, and I'm really excited to have him on the show today. Dude, what's going on? How's it going?
Just, Manic Monday, putting out
Manic Monday.
fires. And
Yeah, I hate firefighting Monday.
yeah.
So, we were talking just a moment ago, and like your phone was going crazy with leads, man. I'm sorry to take away about 20 minutes of your time here while you're selling roofs today. So
they can wait, dude. I mean, I think I'm booked all the way into the end of September, going into October now.
Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Roofing Specialists of San Diego, and then also your solar company, man. I'd love to hear about that.
So I started doing roofing in 92. Started out doing tear-offs, then install. I started my company, got licensed in 2001. Was owner-operator for a lot of the time. Blew out my knee. And then had to kind of become a grown-up and hire employees.
Right.
I really miss those times being an owner-operator, man. It was like, from every step of the job to marketing it, selling it, installing it, cleaning it up, collecting it, and on to the next one. Probably some of the most profitable times were when I was doing that. Didn't have to have workers' comp insurance on yourself because you couldn't sue yourself.
Right.
But I was fortunate to do it that way because I know every aspect of the business. I can get in and help in any division that's needed because of that. But that's going on 2001. So what are we in 2023? So
22 years.
22 years. My company's been around.
That's great, man. We always talk about most roofing companies in our industry last less than 2 seasons, especially these past several years because of COVID and other things. To be around as long as you've been around is an accomplishment for sure.
Well, we don't really have seasons. Like we have, it's almost summer. It's summer. It was just summer, and it's almost summer again.
Yeah, there's no 4 seasons. It's all one season, right? It's just a little bit warmer each part of the year.
Yeah.
So, man, what's something that you like to do besides roofing? I know this answer, but tell people at home what living in California is like and what you love to do.
Anything active, whether it's surfing, snowboarding, going for a bike ride down the boardwalk, on the beach, hiking, camping. But most all of that is with my family. It's spending time with the kids and the wife.
Man, that's great. You know what? I'm looking forward to coming to San Diego just to spend some time on the beach. It feels like I go to Florida all the time, but roofing conferences or events never come to California.
No.
And I'm here to say that I'm happy that we're actually doing one there. I think that I saw John Dye, an American Contractor Show, might be doing one up in San Fran in a couple months. But it's exciting to actually get over to the West Coast with San Diego and Seattle. So tell me a little bit about your solar company, man. What kind of work are you guys doing in that other country of California?
So in sunny San Diego, that's never really cloudy. It's like I get 74 degrees, bluebird out, so it's prime for solar. And it's also probably one of the most expensive electrical utility in the United States. I think we average like 40 some odd cents a kilowatt hour. And that's going up. They're saying it's supposed to increase in the next, 3 years at 30% more. So basically solar's been around forever. I mean, dude, President Nixon put solar panels on the White House. You know what I mean? Like it's that old, right? So I've been around it for a long time. And because I got in with AccuLynx in 2014, so I've completely automated my business with CRMs, could not live without automations, without CRM, without that infrastructure, right? And
Right.
so what it really boiled down to was the roofing comes in first, solar comes in after, right? Well, I would go and I would set the bar really high for my customers. They would get automation emails, automation text messages, pictures of the salesperson who's going to be arriving, pictures of the crew leader who's going to be on the job sites. I have rules where all my employees, each employee has to take 25 photos a day and upload that into AccuLink. So when I get 10 guys on a roof, that customer is getting 250 photos that day from start to finish. I usually do 3 drops, one in the morning around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, just after lunch, and then at the end of the day. And so, I always have to think through the lens of the customer, right?
Yeah.
If I was a customer and I was getting a bathroom remodel, well, I can go and look over the dude's shoulder and see how he's grouting the tile, right? Or I can see how he's putting in that sink. But when it comes to the rooftop, you can't really look over the shoulder, right? You can't really see it from the ground sometimes. And so it's giving that concierge level service to the customer. And we live in that world even more now, right? You order a pizza or you order Uber, you're watching that dude drive through your neighborhood.
Yep.
Like, it's like, do we not have anything better to do?
Yeah.
Like sit here and watch the little car icon drive through the neighborhood, right?
That's me. I'm the guy that's standing out there 2 minutes before it gets there.
Right. And it's like you bringing that experience into the trades. That's what has to be done, know? And so I kept getting from customers, oh man, you did awesome at the roof. I love the photos. I loved your full transparency. I love the communication. I love the follow-up. But boy, man, that solar guy that came in after you, man, he really dropped the ball. And I just kept getting this over and over and over. And it was actually customers telling me, man, you should start a solar company. If you can run your solar company the way that you run your roofing company, you're going to kill it.
Yeah.
And so it was just, it was what customers were asking for me to do to fill this gap. Right. And so I did.
Yeah, and you know what, and you and I have had a lot of opportunity to talk about the solar stuff, and what's one of the things that you hate most about roofing and solar mixed, or when you get to a job site that somebody else might have installed solar and now you're coming to fix that roof?
Well, okay, for the audience of roofers, okay?
Yeah.
When you shingle a house, do you ever put all the shingles on and then come back the next day to lift them up to put the metal flashings on?
No,
never, right? Yeah. You do that in conjunction of installing that roof, right? Halfway, the shingles go halfway up the pipe penetrations, pipe jack goes on, shingle cut around it, keep going. Never see a roofer put all the shingles on, come back, lift it up to put the mounts on, right?
Put the mounts in, then cut around them, man.
Right.
Exactly. It's just like a pipe jack, right?
Yeah, and I would work with solar contractors about, okay, well, here's the deal. I'm going to tear off the roof, and I'll chalk all the lines for you. I'll prep it, paper it. I need you to come and do a truck roll, a half-day mobilization to come out there and just mount those stanchions, right? They're always inconvenienced by it because it's not a full day's worth of work. They come out there, they're just lagging in the stanchion poles for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then they got to leave, right?
Right.
So they would always say, oh, we'd rather just come after you're done with the roof. And I'm like, no, dude, you're not going to peel apart my shingles.
Right.
You can't take apart my roof and disassemble it to put it on, And so it's far more important to get a roofer that knows solar than a solar person who says he knows roofing.
Right.
Because they really don't. And it's not a lot of their fault. Right. Yeah. I go to the solar yard to buy materials.
Yeah.
So just like ABC, Beacon, SRS, there's supply yards that sell solar products.
Right.
But when I go in there, they're not supplying the correct stuff that a roofer needs to waterproof. Their sealants are M1s or ChemLinks that are not ASTM approved. They void the shingle manufacturer. the flashings are the wrong size. They're not the correct gauge, where all roofing has to be 26 gauge metal. It's like just these little things. And it's not, I mean, it is their fault for not doing research, but yet they're only seeing what's at the store. You know what I mean? So they're just, customers aren't getting a quality product because of it.
Right. And it's not just happening in California. I understand it's happening everywhere. And a lot, you and I were at SolarCon together, and one of the things that I heard that was like really upsetting to me was that there were some solar guys, not all. Like, please don't. If you're a solar person, please don't take this the wrong way. But I actually heard solar people saying F roofers, and I was like, what is this about? Like, we could work so much better together than we do apart. And if you're ruining a person's roof or their house by putting in solar before making sure that roof is shored in properly, then you're doing a disservice to your customer. And I just want the solar people to know, since 2019, I've been trying to work with you.
Yeah. They have this country club model to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They think they're better
right.
because they're electrical.
Sure.
And man, if I had a roofer and electrician in the room, I put my money on electrician every time.
Right.
If they had to go toe to toe, it's much harder work. It's much more laborious. It's more, there's more to know. You know what I mean? Like, you put those same black panels, the same rails, the same mounts, whether it's a tile roof, a shingle roof, a flat roof, a ground mount, they're all the same. It's easy.
Right.
Roofing's way harder than solar.
Yeah, it is. But also, it's very, the solar makes a ton of money, just like the roofing does. And if somebody can sell, they're doing well on that solar.
Yeah, I would say. But then again, I run it different. I'm not this whole red line model. We're all in-house, right? All hourly employees on both divisions.
Right.
They're pretty neck and neck. I would say roofing probably has a little bit better profit in it.
Sure. Like, so tell me a little bit about, like, we were talking about right at the beginning of the show about how many leads you were getting in. Tell us a little bit about the marketing that you're doing. I know you're doing things a little bit differently than, well, not a little. You're doing a lot more of some other things. Tell us how your marketing is working for you and what you're doing.
Well, I really don't even market.
Right.
Like, I built a website that had really, really good keyword strategy.
Sure.
I mean, you can see it in the name. You know what I mean? Like, when I keyworded what are the top 3 things that are searched, it was the word roofing and it was the word San Diego. So my business name had to have those in it.
Sure.
Just for that alone.
Right.
But back in 2014, when I launched my website, I just went all in on it. Made sure to do it correct. And I don't think I've really shaken very much money at it since then. So
are you the one that's updating and every day doing blogs, or doing the blogs, or do you have somebody that does that?
No. So if you do SEO and build your site correctly, you don't need blogs to rank. Right. I think my last blog was in 2015, maybe. Wow. That I wrote.
Back when it was still like slow speed internet.
Yeah. And I probably average, I don't know, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 leads a year.
Wow.
From it, with zero ad spend. So if you went and you calculated at, let's just say average, let's go on the low end at 3,000 a year, going all the way back to 2014, and then factor my per cost acquisition per job, we're talking a fraction of a penny. You know what I mean? Because of that. Now, granted, I got in early, so I have age of domain that's really, really helping.
Right.
But with me being booked until October, I couldn't want to spend a penny on advertising in fear that they don't want to wait that long.
Right. And my next question was going to be, do you see sales continuing to, or are they good for you in this economy, or are they shit? But it sounds like you're doing really well.
My guys haven't had a day off in over a decade. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
we've been booked out months consistently for years.
Right.
Like
Uh,
I don't know.
are you doing anything on social media? Or are you just still doing the
Just
same
me.
things that you normally have done?
I go live every now and then on a
Yeah.
roof when I do inspections. But that just builds my my personal
Right.
thing. You know what I mean? I really don't even need to. I bet you people are kind of annoyed with it at this point because I mean they all
Oh, they
know
love it,
that
Eric. I promise.
I no, but like imagine my friends list of like 4,000 people on Facebook that are just San Diegans, right? That are
Right.
doctors, lawyers, dentists, bartenders, whatever. If I went to high school with them, they already knew I do roofing. Like I don't need to
Okay.
broadcast it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're the ones that are probably annoyed.
How are you guys educating your team and staying up to date in the current trends with roofing and solar?
So I've been on the board of directors for the Roofing Association. Um, we have very limited contractor involvement, right? So it's just kind of we just regurgitate each other.
Yeah.
Our last meeting, we didn't even have a quorum, so we couldn't even have a meeting, right? Because we don't have enough contractors. I would say 400, 450 roofing contractors in San Diego with a population of a few million. So it's not a real saturated market, but
Right.
it's different here than it is everywhere else.
Yeah.
So for somebody to get a start a roofing company, you have to actually take a test to get a contractor's license. In order to even get an application for that contractor's license, you have to prove 4 years journeyman level experience, right?
Right.
So what you'll find in California is a lot of the people are not as business minded, more climbed the ladder, wore bags, did installs, and then decided to start their own company, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of them are stuck in the trenches because of that mindset that they have that they have to be involved on every aspect rather than delegating and hiring out. But because I'm this year, I think my current term is vice president. For next year, I have to cycle back into president of the Roofing Association, right?
Yeah.
Um, with that, we're constantly holding meetings. Every month, we have educational meetings at the Roofing Association. Our last meeting was OSHA safety, ladder, heat, illness, the new up and coming changes on government jobs leading edge fall protection, right? So then the one before that was the highway patrol guy telling us about how to stay compliant with our big trucks and trailers. One before that was, I think it was the Lamanco guy teaching about attic ventilation. You know what
Wow.
I mean? So that's what we do is we outsource professionals, reps of our industry, have them come to host our dinner meetings with education and then just train. And
Lot,
so because I'm
lot
on that
different
back
than
end,
storm chasers.
what that
I said a lot different than storm chase education.
oh yeah. No, yeah. Storm chasing, I from what I just found out, like they don't even have to write their own estimates.
No.
Like
Uh,
they
yeah. Yeah.
that's so wild to me.
In my time, I'm a storm chaser for life. I always say that, storm chaser for life, right? 99% of the time, the first estimate is the one that the independent adjuster writes or whoever, and then we go back to supplement, right? So it's never us providing the bid unless it's a retail job, right? But most of the time in storm markets, there's no retail bid. It's just like, oh, we're
So
going to do
you
a
don't
bid.
need to know anything about roofing.
No, anybody can be a roofer in the storm chase model
Wow.
because if I go to a house today and I have an estimate from an insurance company, all I'm doing is transposing from the estimate to my contract. And in the matter of minutes, I'm asking for those 9 line items that the insurance company just wrote, and I'm just transferring it to my contract so that I can just match what the cost is going to be from what the insurance company is willing to pay to that homeowner that's going to sign for deductible only. So it's
Well,
really very simple.
No wonder the lifespan of a roofer is only 2 years and they're always going out of business.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, they sell 20 roofs their first year. Maybe they sell 25 their second year. They made a whole lot of money, and now they're on to something else, or else they just put themselves out of business by not paying their bills or doing the right thing with their money, and now, yeah, here we are, and then a year from now when they either come back to life or get out of jail or whatever happens,
Yeah.
now they're selling roofs again, and here we are. But I love roofing for all of its, for everything that it brings, either the retail or the store model. But tell me this. I know that you're a roofer user through and through. Can you tell us how you're using Roofer?
So how I use Roofer is I got a call today, right? TJ just called in. Hey, Eric, I'd like to get an estimate for a new roof. Okay. Well, I'm taking that information. I'm booking the appointment for tomorrow to go out and there, do a site visit and an estimate.
Right.
Today, I put in the address into Roofer. I upload it. Now you got to understand the weather's really, really good here.
Keep rubbing it in. Keep rubbing it in.
Well, I mean, I don't have to buy a lot of reports, right? So I just looked and saw how many DIYs I have, and it's like 670 DIYs, and then how many reports I had to purchase was like 50 something, I think, right?
Yeah.
So because very little trees, very little gray clouds, my images are super, super, super good.
Right.
Where I'm able to draw the before I get there. So I'll plot it out, right? So like here, I have one right here.
Don't forget to bring your hacksaw too, Jim Duggan. I saw your yellow 6-foot 2x4 earlier.
That's right. So that's my little cheat that I use, right?
Yeah.
Because I was sick of it. Like this one right here.
Yeah. I can't see it. There you go. Yeah.
Right. So I'll upload my image, right?
Yeah.
And I'll put my tape measure on the eave to the ridge. But then I got sick of squinting and looking for the tape measure as I'm trying to scale my two dots. So I spray painted a 1x3. First, I spray painted it fluorescent orange, but it was disappearing on my orange tile roofs.
Oh yeah.
So I had to shit can that one and spray paint it fluorescent yellow because I've never seen a freaking tennis ball green roof.
No. Nope.
So now it works on tile roofs, on shingle roofs. It works on all of them, right?
Yeah.
But so what I'll do is like before I get to the job, I've got my roof R report. And then on the back where I've already done my DIY, this is where on the back page is where I make all my notes. So right here is where I do all the pipe count, the size of the chimney, the skylights, right? So that's where all my notes go. And I'm just double checking the measurements from online. It just saves me from running around and dragging a tape on all 12 facets of the roof.
Are you snapping your own images with a drone, or are you just pulling them straight from us?
Well, it depends. Like if I'm going out tomorrow and I can't get a good image, then I'll go and take my drone and I'll do my drone, put my 1x3 on the roof, do all my drone photos, and then set my scale and then draw it from there.
Man, that's great. I like that. That's so smart. And we get so much great feedback about the DIY all over the United States. The people that are using it, that are saving so much time and money, because I'm sure you can probably draw a regular gable roof in about 10, 15 minutes now, even probably quicker than that.
I time myself. So I average roughly around to draw a roof. Well, that's even downloading the images. Okay. So from my SD card, download, upload, put in there, draw it out. Now you got to understand, dude, our roofs are really basic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, same as Colorado.
Like I would say I'm at about 1:45 minutes on average to draw a house.
Wow. And even if you didn't draw it, like you can get it back in 3 hours from us, or pay $10 and have it back in 3 hours. But like even still, like like I really love like when people tell us the success stories that they're having with the DIY tool. Is there anything else in technology that you're using in your roofing company now, or in any of your companies that maybe somebody might need to know about?
Dude, roofer, man. Like
Yeah,
roofer and a CRM. You guys are doing a CRM now.
yeah,
Um, those two things, like if you told me to run a roofing company without a CRM,
right.
I would quit. Honestly, if you want me to go back and antiquate it, like there's,
Yeah.
dude, I wouldn't do it.
You know how many people out there tell me still today that they're still using Excel spreadsheets?
Yeah.
And I mean, to each their own, but
Yeah.
Roofer's CRM is going to be $149 a month for unlimited users.
Yeah.
And like I keep telling people, like Excel's expensive too, but why not have all the features?
Yeah.
So, but we're looking forward to that. Hopefully by the end of this month is what I'm hearing, and we're really excited about that part. But how much have you said? How much could you say that technology's changed the way that you do things?
I wish it was more, but mostly just that CRM. You know what I mean? I still have to go and count the pipes. Like you gotta understand, dude, I'm retail. Like
Yeah,
I'm not living in this communism world where I started my own company to be free and that somebody else dictate what I do on the scope of work, right?
sure,
That's bizarro to me.
right,
So I still go out. I have to check the access for the dump trailers and the driveways. I have to get photos of that driveway to see if there's any pre-existing cracks that they're going to try to blame me for.
right,
I got to go and count the pipes. I got to look at the undershots. I got to see if it's the wrong skylight. Like if they put a deck mounted skylight that needs to be a curb mount on a shingle roof, right? So I'm still visiting and still manually doing a lot of that stuff because people like the show.
yep,
You know what I mean? Like I could be a Max Headroom and do this all virtually. I could stamp these out every 2 minutes
yep,
and just email bids out. But then I'm not giving them that show. I'm not giving them that personal
yep,
touch that really confirms with them. You understand, first impression, 7 seconds.
yep.
Somebody is going to make up their decision in that first 7 seconds.
I used
And
to tell
so,
people I like I'm the best 7 seconds in the world,
yep,
and that's from the video side, right? Because you only
yep,
have like 4.5 seconds to capture that attention, or else they're going with somebody else.
yeah, they're going to keep scrolling.
Yep. So,
And
but no,
so that's what it is, and it's you got to understand we're in a technology world, right?
yeah,
So the customer's sitting at their keyboard, they're searching, they're even uploading pictures of their own home into the software and then dropping colors of shingles on their houses to see what
sure,
looks good, right?
yeah,
Like I really don't want it on my website because it's going to slow down my algorithm, but they can play with it all they want,
yeah,
right? So I I promise you that they've already decided that they want a forest brown shingle on their roof, right?
yep,
And now they're going through and they're interviewing us without us knowing it, right? They're
yeah,
looking at our reviews, they're looking at Yelp, they're looking at Google, they're asking their Facebook groups, next door. And so they're interviewing us, but we don't know that yet.
right,
And so you have this digital billboard that you're giving to them so they can interview you virtually, right?
yep,
But then you got to come out there because everybody's going to offer that same forest brown shingle. They're going to put the same nails in it, the same size nails in it. They're going to work the same amount of days. Hell, outside of California, they all probably use the same crews anyway. So
right,
it's like there's really no difference, right?
yeah,
So the difference is in that showmanship. It's in that conveying that it's the experience that they're buying, and it's not really the shingle that they're buying.
yeah.
It's the process.
When I was selling, one of my favorite things to do was the process. Was because what I'd go fly the drone, right? Or I'd go to the house and I'd find out that they have small children, and I would say, "Hey, do you want to come out and fly the drone with me?" This is when that was kind of cool, and I think it still is kind of cool. But the second that you start spending time with the family as a friend, is when they're going to sign right away. And that's always what I said is I start out in the yard and I make my way to the kitchen table. And you always do that through the way that I would want them to treat my family. And I love that you're
I've probably
doing
spent more money. I've spent more money on milk bones than I have on roof reports.
for the
You know what
dog,
I mean?
right?
Yes, it's for the dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And sometimes I just leave them in my pocket.
Right. That's awesome, man. Yeah, just so
It's
they smell
like,
it.
dude, right? So it's like I'm not even trying to give him a milk bone. I'm just leaving it in my pocket
Right.
and waiting for Mrs. Smith to go, dang, my dog doesn't usually like people, but he really likes you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like done.
Oh, man. Well, tell me what's next for your company. You planning on staying around another 20 years? Are you going to retire soon? Or are you going to just keep plugging away?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to gauge that decision based off of if I can tell my kids are college material or not. Right?
Right.
Right now, I definitely think my daughter's college material. My son might not be college material.
Yeah,
So
both of my sons are the same way.
right. So he may need a company
Right.
in his back pocket that he could utilize,
Yeah.
But I'm making sure to set it up for him.
Yeah.
It's like volleyball. You can't spike without a good volley, right?
Yeah.
And so every roof that we do, we make sure to register the warranties, right? So I sat down with the Owens Corning rep and I was like, hey, dude, once you guys changed the 20-year, 30-year, 40-year, 50-year shingle by getting rid of all the thicker shingles, you kept the 25-year model and that's it. And you're calling it a limited lifetime with a 50-year extended warranty.
Right.
Okay, I know those shingles aren't lasting 50 years.
Right.
The Owens Corning employee knows that those shingles aren't lasting 50 years, right? So I sat down with them. I was like, listen, bro, I'm going to close all the loopholes. Where are you banking on this warranty?
Sure.
First answer was, well, the average person sells the home every 7 years. Okay. It's only transferable once. So they're banking on the fact that by the time it gets to year 30, it's not in standing anymore because it's transferred hands, right? They're banking on 90% plus of the roofing contractors have no clue what they're doing and they don't install the roof correctly.
Right.
They're not ventilating it to the 1 in 150 ratio, right? They're basically, I sat down with them. I said, when you go out to an inspection for a warranty claim, what are you looking to get out of it?
Right.
So I made sure to close all those loopholes, right? So when I do a roof for you, I tell you, hey, take your warranty. Now, first of all, probably only 10% of us are registering the warranties first and foremost, right? So call your manufacturer, call Owens Corning, call GAF, and check on your contractors to see if they're even registering them. I just looked, I think I had like 200 something registered warranties, right? So that right there, that warranty with the green ribbons that go around it and everything, that is a very, very important document that you need to keep in your safe with your passports, your guns, all of your important documents, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, that roof's not going to last 30 years.
Right.
So 30 years from now, my son, if he takes over this company, he now, because of the CRM, I have data, right, that I can regurgitate, I can MailChimp, I can drip to. He's now going to circle back to all the roofs that I did and say, I'd like to come out and give you a free inspection. My father did all these warranties. You've got it covered. If I come out and find some granule loss, premature wear, cracking, we're going to submit a claim. Owens Corning is now going to pay for the material, the labor, and the tear off to give you a free roof.
Man, that's great. Like, those are the types of stories I love to hear about, down the lineage of the roof, because most of the time I'm speaking from the, Colorado and Florida markets and Texas markets I've been to, like the homeowner doesn't even know that who put the roof on last year, let alone 5 years ago, or even, when the house was built. So to have that data is just like, the data is gold. So,
and it's staying 5 Mile Famous, plug to Joseph Hughes on his 5 Mile Famous, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just because I installed your roof last year doesn't mean I need to forget about you, right? Yeah. So we MailChimp birthdays. We MailChimp yearly follow-ups. Hey, logo, branding. Hey, remember us, in the future. And it's not in an advertising ploy. It's
Right.
not in trying to drum up business. It's just setting that subliminal memory for them
Yeah.
for down the line.
Well, that's so great, man. I'm going to go through a couple quick comments here. People are talking to me right now. Somebody says that they're glad that I'm feeling better. Thanks for saying that. I'm trying. I'm trying to put on a smile on my face, but really, I got a long road ahead. But thanks for that. Signs Global. Do you use Signs, or Thais Signs, right?
What is that?
Signs Global is the back office support. Maybe you don't know who they are. They're a great company out of Fort Lauderdale. They help roofers with all of their back office from the time of sale to the close of the job.
Okay.
Then there's Chuck Allen. He said, Eric's one of my favorites. He's funny as hell and willing to help anybody. So Chuck's a great dude, man. I see him over there at RRCA now working with Lee Haight.
He is?
Yeah, he's over there working with Lee Haight now. So I think that
I thought he was with 411 and Elizabeth.
I think that he found a good home in Lee, and he's doing a good job over there. So I'm proud to see him still out there kicking ass.
Yeah.
Diego Dante's in the house.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Diego here in a few weeks. And then Chuck Toki, Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Go-to professional. And then somebody was talking about the cold truth of warranties.
Yep.
And then let's see. I didn't realize those numbers about warranties. Very few register warranties. Yeah, in store market, I'll tell you an honest answer. In the hundreds of roofs that I've sold, I think I might have only filed one warranty, and that's in the store market. Because typically the roof's not going to last more than 5 years here because it's going to get held out. And that's not to say that the homeowner doesn't want that, but anytime I've had a problem, like I'm a certainteed guy, I always was a certainteed guy. And anytime I called my rep, they showed up on time, and they were there ready to change it if it needed to be changed.
Well, certainty, they're the ones that started it. So they actually invented the whole system.
Yeah.
And people think that it's all about selling accessories.
Sure.
That's part of it, right? Yeah. But very rarely do you put a Chevy engine in a Ford truck with Alfa Romeo sheets.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all Ford parts, or it's all Chevy parts. That's the system.
Right.
You know what I mean? They work better together that way.
I'm not gonna call it any manufacturers, but I've happened to be a part of some installs in the future, or not in the future, but in the past. And I've been seeing all of these new things that they're doing with roofs. If you're a manufacturer, stop adding stuff. You know what I mean? Like the little strips that we're putting around the edge of the eaves now. I don't know. I'm not talking about drip edge. I'm talking about those little ice and water shield that are like 6 inches. It's kind of weird. But tell me one piece of wisdom, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Rise, and then we'll get out of here. I know you got stuff to do, and so do
I. One piece of wisdom that I could share with people, treat every prospect like their family,
right?
And try to see how they see it through their eyes. You know what I mean? A lot of sales guys get into this whole vomiting their whole pitch, right? Yeah. Where it's ask more questions than directing. And a lot of times they will give you the answers that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not in a slick talking sales situation. It's whether you can tell from their subliminal whether they're leaning towards a repair or a replacement.
Yeah.
There's like little things that I ask is how long have you been in the house? How long do you stay in the house? When was the last time you had a home improvement project done, and how did that process go for you?
Yeah.
Some of those little questions are enough to give me the answers of how I need to prescribe, right? If we look at ourselves kind of like physicians, we're like the doctors, right?
Right.
So if you call me and you say, Eric, I want you to come out and give me a repair on my roof, and I go out there and I see freaking blown Swiss holes in your roof, right? Well, I'm looking at an x-ray of a clearly broken bone, right? I'm not going to let the patient dictate that they just want a Band-Aid on their arm. It's
Yeah.
broken. You know what I mean? Like we need to operate on this. And so there's just look at it through the customer's eyes and ask more questions than you think that you need to ask.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Somebody actually just said something just now. They said, "Do you guys ever ask to see the competitors' quotes?" I don't. I never
They
have
give them
asked.
to me. I never even have to ask.
Yeah,
So
somebody just
usually they'll just give them to me, Eric. I mean, they'll just like, Eric, hey, I got other bids. Take a look at it and tell me what's wrong with them.
right,
Kind of. You know what I mean? Like when you set yourself up as that expert, then they're almost asking you to verify why they don't want to choose them.
sure,
And so I get a lot of them giving them to me. And all that is them asking for assurance of why me, you
right,
know? Like they'll every few times if I don't do my setup right, they'll say, "Oh, well, I got this one at this price. Can you match it?" Right? Well, that means I just fucking fumbled it on the 20-yard line coming into the end zone. Okay, I
right,
didn't do it right. Second, I usually don't even respond or play that game. I'll say, well, chances are I can't match it. The value that we put into our estimates and the way we build our roofs is unmatchable.
right,
You will not find other people putting the products that we put onto your roof.
sure,
So it's people do the whole apple and apple comparison. Well, they can be called fruits. We're not fruits. We're diamonds.
right. That's so great. Man, that's awesome that you say that. And somebody just said, "No band-aids on broken bones." Amen. So,
Nope.
great stuff today, man. Rise across the United States. The four stops that we've had almost 400 people show up to this event. And we're looking forward to a great crowd in Carlsbad in just a few weeks. I'm seeing the numbers go up quite a bit, which, one of the things I was scared of is what you were talking about just a few minutes ago, which you running the association and having trouble getting people to come in and actually be a part of these trainings. I think right now we're almost at 50 or maybe 60 people who've signed up. And that's just a testament to how great Rise has been across the country. We're going to spend about 6 hours together. Me and you are actually going to talk. We're going to do a pulse check of the industry during that day. I've got other people like Ian Frisch, Tobiah Rocker will be there. And I'm really looking forward to, Elizabeth Calzadilla will be there, Pete McKendrick. And then I even think Radford will be there with us this time. I'm excited for him to be able to travel with us. But if you guys have not been to a Rise event, it's something that you need to experience. It's not like a regular event that you've been to in the past. Our team has really worked so hard to be able to bring the value that's needed in these types of events. That's not a bunch of fluff, right? And it's not a bunch of friends just hanging out. It's actually real education where people are writing down and taking back notes to their company to implement today as soon as this is over. And then one of the best parts about it has been the networking, and then also the food. Like I know Summerly, he's been praising me every day. David Summerly, we're friends, and he's like, dude, that food was great. I'm like, how many times are you going to tell me? So, but real quick, thank you to ABC Supply, Good Leap Finance, Inc. Finance, Square Dash Finance, Business 411, Elizabeth Calzadilla's business, Company Cam, Lead Scout, Rilla just became a gold sponsor. Coastal Claims, which is one of my favorite public insurance adjusters. They're a nationwide public insurance adjuster, world's greatest roofer, and Signs Global. And if you need to get tickets, down in the bottom right-hand corner, you see roofer.com/rise. And we'll look forward to seeing you at that event. Eric, it's been so much fun talking to you, dude. I love hanging out with you anyways. And I'm looking forward to being in Carlsbad in a few weeks and grabbing some seafood on the beach there, hopefully in the Cove, man.
Yeah,
So,
I think people kind of miss the mark. I wanna try to get you to network outside of California too.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times these shows come into these little parts of the towns, right?
yeah,
Well, that's a different market. And
yeah,
everybody in that little town has kind of the same mindset because
yeah,
it's the same market, right? Well, somebody from Boston, New York, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, anywhere that's out that can come in and network and
right,
get a whole shift on their mindset on
yeah,
how people do it differently. And remember, it's the differences that really that you stand apart. And it's that networking, like what at SolarCon. The
yeah.
biggest takeaway for me at SolarCon was sitting down with a solar installer who's
Yeah.
been selling net metering 3 already in Hawaii.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it
Yeah,
was none of the speeches, none of the breakouts, none of that stuff. It was how he implemented net metering 3, which I'm in right now, right?
yeah.
The actual boots on the ground, the pencils to paper, how it actually performs. That was my biggest takeaway out of the whole SolarCon event.
You know, I got a lot out of SolarCon too. You know, it was a lot smaller than normal events, but what I got out of it was the same, like sitting in that VIP area with Jake Bennington, and then also sitting at the table with you and Jen Silver and all of the other people that were there, like and Ben Tiger, right? Like all of
Yeah.
us were just chilling and we were sharing information, and that's what makes these events as great as they are because a lot of times, like you say, maybe I might not catch an educational piece of it, but I'm meeting somebody that's helping me grow my business or be better in life. And that's what I love about it the most, man. A little birdie told me today that we're most likely going to do 4 more of these Rise events. And we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, there's nothing set in stone, but I've got some locations in the country, and I'd love to use your advice. What you said about maybe bringing some people from other places in the country to talk about what they're doing,
Yeah.
to open some eyes, man. It really is a great experience to get that the all the experience needed.
It's like California. We're predominantly W-2, no subcontractors, right?
Right.
So if you have guys who are in Texas who 100% use subs, but they want to get out of that model and start going in-house,
Yeah.
there's no, like, what are you going to ask somebody else who uses subs for their advice on
Yeah.
how to do that? You know what I mean? So it's that whole coast to coast networking where as soon as you start launching some more dates, I want to travel
Yeah.
and go to a Rise show outside of California.
Sure.
And I want to sit there and I want to absorb, I want to network and see what's working for them, what's not working for them.
Yeah. Atlanta, I mean, all of the Rise events have been great, but this last one in Atlanta, man, I can't tell you how grateful I am for that crowd. I just went home on that Saturday after that Rise event and was just on cloud 9 just because of so much knowledge that was gained from that crowd. And I loved it, man. But I'm really looking forward to it with you, man. And I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that I'm there with you guys. And I'll look forward to seeing you. But if you guys are wanting to come to our event, again, go to roofer.com/rise. There's a small fee, $25. The reason we did that, we wanted to make sure that we ordered enough food, and we want to make sure that you're going to be there so that if we're setting up chairs and tables, that we're not overworking. And I wanted to make it free, but we got to make sure that we know that you're going to be there. So thank you guys for tuning in. Eric, if you'll hang on just for a second, I'm going to end the broadcast, and we'll see you guys soon.